8-year-old Anya's cries echoed from inside the locked SUV as temperatures soared past 100 degrees. Her father, Chief Minister Arjun Sharma, faced an impossible choice: resign in disgrace or watch his daughter die in the burning heat. Every second counted. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The morning sun cast long shadows across Greenwood Heights, the most expensive neighborhood in the city. Chief Minister Arjun Sharma was reviewing his daily schedule when his phone rang. The caller ID showed his daughter's school. "Mr. Sharma," the principal's voice was worried. "Anya never arrived at school today. Her driver says he dropped her at the community center for her swimming lesson, but the coach says she never showed up." Arjun's blood ran cold. His 8-year-old daughter Anya was always punctual. She loved her morning swim classes and never missed them. "I'll be right there," he said, grabbing his keys. As chief minister, Arjun had many enemies. Political rivals, business groups angry about his anti-corruption policies, and criminal organizations he had targeted. But he never imagined anyone would go after his family. Arjun drove to the community center, his mind racing. The Greenwood Heights Community Center was run by the Homeowners Association, led by President Marcus Wellington. Wellington was a wealthy businessman who had always resented Arjun's presence in the neighborhood. He believed politicians, even honest ones, didn't belong among respectable people. The community center was eerily quiet when Arjun arrived. Usually, it buzzed with activity: tennis matches, swimming lessons, yoga classes. Today the parking lot was nearly empty. He ran to the front desk. "Where is everyone? My daughter was supposed to have swimming lessons here." The young receptionist looked nervous. "Mr. Wellington canceled all activities today. He said there was a gas leak and everyone had to leave." "Where is Wellington now?" I don't know, sir. He told everyone to go home and said the center would be closed all day." Arjun's phone buzzed. An unknown number had sent him a text message: "Your daughter is safe, for now. Come to the back parking lot. Come alone or she suffers." His hands trembled as he read the message again. Someone had taken Anya. His little girl, who still slept with her teddy bear and asked him to check for monsters under her bed, was in danger. Arjun walked slowly to the back parking lot, trying to stay calm. His security training kicked in. He noted every detail: the position of cars, possible escape routes, places where someone might be hiding. In the far corner of the lot, he saw a black SUV with tinted windows. As he approached, he heard something that made his heart stop: the faint sound of a child crying. "Anya!" he shouted, running toward the vehicle. The driver's door opened and Marcus Wellington stepped out. The HOA president was a tall man in his 50s, always impeccably dressed. Today his usually perfect appearance was disheveled. His eyes held a wild look that Arjun had never seen before. "Wellington, what have you done?" "What needed to be done?" Wellington replied coldly. "You've ruined everything, Sharma. Your anti-corruption drive destroyed my construction permits. Your environmental policies blocked my development projects. You cost me millions. Let my daughter go. She's just a child." Wellington laughed bitterly. "Just like you care about other people's children when you shut down their businesses? When you put their parents in jail?" From inside the SUV, Arjun could hear Anya's muffled sobs. The sound cut through him like a knife. He took a step forward, but Wellington pulled out a remote control. "Stay back. This button controls the car's heating system. Right now your precious daughter is locked inside with the heater running at maximum. The temperature is already over 100 degrees. In this heat she has maybe an hour before." Wellington didn't finish the sentence. "You're insane. She's innocent. So were the families you destroyed with your so-called justice." Arjun forced himself to think clearly. Getting angry wouldn't save Anya. He needed to understand Wellington's plan and find a way to stop it. "What do you want?" "I want you to resign. Publicly announce that you're stepping down as chief minister due to a family emergency. Then I want you to call off all investigations into my businesses. And if I do that, you'll let her go?" Wellington's smile was cruel. "Maybe. Or maybe I'll just turn up the heat a little more. You see, this isn't just about business anymore. This is about making you suffer the way you made me suffer." The SUV's windows were starting to fog up from the inside. Arjun could see small handprints pressed against the glass, Anya trying to escape. The sight filled him with a rage he had never felt before. "You have 10 minutes to decide," Wellington said, checking his watch. "After that, I increase the temperature. Every 10 minutes after that, it goes up more. Your daughter is strong, but even strong children can't survive extreme heat for long." Arjun's mind raced through his options. He could try to rush Wellington, but the man might activate the heating system out of spite. He could call the police, but Wellington had specifically said to come alone. Any backup might provoke him to hurt Anya immediately. Then he remembered something. As chief minister, he had access to emergency services protocols. The fire department had new thermal imaging equipment that could detect heat sources from a distance. I need to make some calls, Arjun said. No calls. You decide now. I'm not calling for backup. I'm calling to arrange my resignation. But I need to do it properly or it won't be believable. Wellington considered this. Fine. But I'm watching you. Any tricks and your daughter pays. Arjun pulled out his phone and dialed what appeared to be his office number. In reality, he was calling Fire Chief Kumar, an old friend who understood code phrases from their army days together. Chief Minister's office, Kumar answered, playing along immediately. This is Arjun. I need to implement Operation Greenhouse immediately. Location is Greenwood Heights Community Center, back parking lot. Black SUV license plate. He squinted at the vehicle, X-ray 7-4-9. Thermal signature required. Silent approach essential. To Wellington, it sounded like Arjun was arranging his resignation announcement. But Kumar understood perfectly. Operation Greenhouse was their old code for a heat-related emergency rescue. The thermal signature request meant someone was trapped in an overheated space. Understood, Kumar replied. Implementation in 15 minutes. Arjun hung up and looked at Wellington. It's done. My resignation will be announced within the hour. But as they waited, Arjun noticed something alarming. The crying from inside the SUV was getting weaker. Anya was getting tired from the heat and stress. He had to act faster. I want to see her, Arjun demanded. I want to know she's still okay. She's fine, Wellington snapped, but even he looked worried. He hadn't expected the temperature to rise so quickly. Show me or the deal is off. Reluctantly, Wellington approached the SUV and tapped on the window. A small face appeared through the fogged glass. Anya looked pale and exhausted, her hair damp with sweat. Daddy? Her weak voice was barely audible through the glass. I'm here, Beta. Daddy's going to get you out. Wellington pulled Arjun away from the car. That's enough. Now we wait for your announcement. But Arjun had seen what he needed to see. Anya was conscious but weakening fast. The car was indeed overheating dangerously. He estimated she had maybe 30 minutes before the situation became life-threatening. In the distance, he heard the faint sound of sirens. But they weren't coming closer. Kumar was keeping them far enough away to avoid detection while positioning for rescue. What's that sound? Wellington demanded. Probably just traffic on the main road, Arjun replied calmly. This neighborhood always has sirens passing through. Wellington seemed to accept this explanation, but he was getting more agitated. The man was clearly unstable, and unstable people made dangerous mistakes. You know, Arjun said conversationally, I always wondered why you hated me so much. We barely knew each other before I moved here. You represent everything wrong with this country, Wellington spat. Corrupt politicians who pretend to be clean while destroying honest businessmen. Is that what you think you are? An honest businessman? More honest than you? At least I admit what I am. Arjun kept Wellington talking while watching for signs of the rescue team. He needed to keep the man distracted and away from the remote control. Tell me about your construction business. Maybe we can work something out. For the next few minutes, Wellington ranted about his failed projects, his lost investments, and his belief that Arjun had personally targeted him. The man was so absorbed in his grievances that he didn't notice the subtle changes in the environment. Suddenly, Arjun felt a slight vibration in his phone, a signal from Kumar that the team was in position. You know what, Wellington? You're right about one thing. What's that? I did target you specifically. But not for the reasons you think. Wellington's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? 3 years ago you built that apartment complex in Riverside. The one that collapsed during the monsoon. 12 families lost their homes. A child died. That was an accident. The investigation cleared me. The investigation was bought and paid for. I found the real reports. You used substandard materials and bribed the safety inspectors. I've been waiting for the right moment to bring you down. Wellington's face turned red with rage. You sanctimonious fool. You think you're so much better than everyone else. He raised the remote control, his finger hovering over the button that would increase the heat even more. That's when Kumar's team struck. A fire department sniper, positioned on the community center roof, used a specialized device to shoot a small disruptor that knocked the remote control from Wellington's hand. Simultaneously, firefighters with thermal cutting tools began working on the SUV's locks from the blind spot behind the vehicle. Wellington spun around in confusion, realizing too late that he had been outmaneuvered. "You called them. You lied to me." "I did what any father would do," Arjun replied, advancing on Wellington. "I saved my daughter." Wellington lunged for the remote control, but Arjun tackled him to the ground. They struggled on the hot asphalt while the firefighters worked frantically to free Anya. "Almost got it," one of the firefighters called out. But the struggle had damaged the remote control. Sparks flew from its broken casing and suddenly the SUV's heating system went into overdrive. The temperature inside began climbing rapidly. "Anya!" Arjun shouted, breaking free from Wellington and running to the car. The firefighters had cut through the lock mechanism, but the electronic doors had jammed due to the malfunctioning heating system. The temperature inside was now dangerously high, and Anya had stopped responding to their calls. "We need to break the glass," Kumar shouted, arriving with a specialized tool. But Arjun was already moving. He grabbed a heavy stone from the landscaping and smashed it against the driver's side window. The safety glass cracked but didn't break completely. "Stand back," Kumar commanded, swinging a rescue hammer. The window shattered on the second blow. Hot air rushed out like opening an oven door. Inside, Anya lay unconscious on the back seat, her small body limp and overheated. Arjun reached in and pulled his daughter out, her skin burning hot to the touch. She was breathing but barely. "Ambulance!" he shouted, though the paramedics were already running toward them with a stretcher. As the medical team worked on Anya, Arjun knelt beside her, holding her small hand. "Come on, Beta. Wake up for Daddy." The paramedics quickly established an 4-line and began cooling her body temperature with ice packs and cool fluids. Her pulse was rapid but steady. "She's dehydrated and overheated, but her vitals are stabilizing," the lead paramedic reported. "We need to get her to the hospital immediately." As they loaded Anya into the ambulance, Arjun turned to see police officers arresting Wellington. The man was shouting about corruption and injustice, but his words fell on deaf ears. "Sir," Officer Patel approached Arjun. "We'll need a statement, but it can wait until your daughter is stable." "Thank you. Make sure Wellington is charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, and child endangerment. I want the full weight of the law brought against him." At the hospital, Arjun paced the waiting room while doctors worked on Anya. His wife Priya had rushed from her office and sat clutching his hand. "She's going to be okay," Priya whispered, though her voice shook with fear. "I should have seen this coming," Arjun blamed himself. "I should have protected her better." "You saved her. That's what matters now." Dr. Mehta emerged from the treatment room with a tired but relieved expression. "Your daughter is going to be fine. She suffered heat exhaustion and severe dehydration, but there's no permanent damage. She's awake and asking for you." Arjun rushed into the room where Anya lay connected to 4 tubes but smiling weakly. "Daddy? Was I brave?" Tears filled his eyes as he kissed her forehead. "You were the bravest girl in the world, Beta. Daddy is so proud of you. The bad man said you would choose your job over me. But I knew you would come. I will always come for you, Anya. Always." Later that evening, after Anya had been moved to a regular room and was resting comfortably, Arjun met with the police to give his full statement. "Wellington has confessed to everything," Officer Patel informed him. "Apparently he's been planning this for months. He hired people to watch your family's routine, learned Anya's schedule, and waited for the right opportunity." "What about the HOA? Did other members know?" "No evidence of that yet. It appears Wellington acted alone, though he used HOA resources to plan the attack. He had access to the community center's heating and security systems." Arjun nodded grimly. "What are the charges?" "Kidnapping in the first degree, attempted murder, child endangerment, criminal threatening, and assault. With your daughter's testimony and the evidence we've gathered, he's looking at life in prison." "Good. I want to make sure he never has the chance to hurt another child." The next morning, Anya was discharged from the hospital. As they drove home, she was unusually quiet. "What are you thinking about, Beta? Daddy, why did that man hate us so much?" It was a difficult question. How do you explain adult hatred and revenge to an 8-year-old? Sometimes grown-ups make bad choices when they're angry. Mr. Wellington was angry about his business problems, and he blamed Daddy for them. But that doesn't make what he did right. Will he hurt other children? No, Beta. He's going to jail for a very long time. He can't hurt anyone anymore. Are you going to quit being chief minister? Arjun looked at his daughter in the rearview mirror. She was so small, so innocent, yet she had shown incredible courage in the face of terror. Do you think I should? Anya considered this seriously. You help people, right? You stop bad people from doing bad things. Yes, that's part of my job. Then you should keep helping people. But maybe you can keep me safer too? I promise you, Anya. I will always keep you safe and I will always help people. I'll find a way to do both. That afternoon, Arjun held a press conference. News reporters packed the room, eager to hear about the attempted kidnapping of the chief minister's daughter. Yesterday, my family experienced every parent's worst nightmare, he began. A disturbed individual attempted to use my child as a weapon against the policies of this government. He paused, looking directly into the cameras. Some people believe that targeting politicians' families will force us to abandon our principles. They're wrong. What happened yesterday only strengthens my resolve to fight corruption and protect all families in this state. Will you be increasing your personal security? A reporter asked. Yes, but more importantly, we will be increasing protections for all public servants and their families. No one should have to fear for their children's safety because they choose to serve the public. What about Mr. Wellington's claims that your policies unfairly targeted his business? Mr. Wellington's construction company was investigated because they built unsafe buildings that collapsed and killed people. That's not unfair targeting, that's justice. And no business grievance, real or imagined, justifies endangering a child. Later that week, Arjun visited Wellington in jail. The former HOA president looked haggard and defeated, a far cry from the confident businessman who had once ruled Greenwood Heights. Why did you come here? Wellington asked through the glass partition. To understand. To see if there was any humanity left in you. I lost everything because of you. You lost everything because you cut corners and people died. I just made sure you faced consequences. Wellington stared at the table between them. I never meant for it to go so far. When I saw her in that car getting weaker, I wanted to stop, but I was too angry to think clearly. But you didn't stop. You would have let my daughter die to hurt me. I don't know what came over me. The anger just consumed everything. Arjun studied the broken man before him. You know what the difference is between us, Wellington? When I get angry at injustice, I channel it into making things better. When you got angry at consequences, you tried to destroy an innocent child. I'm sorry, Wellington whispered. For what it's worth, I'm truly sorry. Tell that to my daughter when she wakes up screaming from nightmares. Tell that to my wife who now checks the locks 5 times before bed. Your sorry doesn't undo the trauma you caused. Arjun stood to leave, then turned back. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the fear and anger you put in my family, and I'm going to use it to make this state safer for every family. Every parent will know their children are protected from people like you. 6 months later, Anya had recovered completely from her physical ordeal. The nightmares had stopped, and she was back to her cheerful, energetic self. She had even returned to swimming lessons, though now at a different facility with increased security. Arjun kept his promise. The state legislature passed new laws protecting public servants' families and creating stricter penalties for targeting children. The Anya Protection Act became a model for other states. Wellington was sentenced to life in prison without parole. His business empire crumbled and the HOA was dissolved. A new, more democratic community organization took its place. One evening, as Arjun was tucking Anya into bed, she asked him, "Daddy, do you think Mr. Wellington learned his lesson? I think he understands now that hurting innocent people never solves problems. It only creates more problems. I'm glad you didn't quit your job." Why's that, Beta? Because there might be other bad people out there. And if you weren't chief minister anymore, who would stop them? Arjun smiled and kissed his daughter goodnight. You're very wise for such a little girl. I get it from my daddy. As he turned off the lights and closed her door, Arjun reflected on the events that had changed their lives. The terror of that day would never fully leave him, but it had also taught him something important. Love wasn't just about protecting the people you care about. Sometimes, love meant having the courage to keep fighting for justice, even when that fight put you and your family at risk. Because in the end, creating a safer world for your children meant creating a safer world for everyone's children. Wellington had tried to use Anya as a weapon against justice. Instead, he had only made Arjun more determined to ensure that no other parent would ever face what he had faced that terrifying day. The next morning, Arjun received a letter from a mother in a distant village. Her child had been injured in a building collapse caused by a corrupt contractor. She thanked him for the new safety laws and investigations that would prevent similar tragedies. Arjun smiled as he read the letter. This was why he did the job. Not for power or prestige but for moments like this, when his work made a real difference in real people's lives. He looked at the photo on his desk of Anya at her recent swimming competition, holding up a medal and grinning proudly. She had not just survived her ordeal, she had emerged stronger and more determined than ever. Just like her father. The story of that terrifying day became a reminder throughout the state capital. When other politicians faced threats or pressure to compromise their principles, they remembered Chief Minister Sharma's daughter and his choice to fight harder rather than give in. Wellington's plan had backfired completely. Instead of weakening Arjun's resolve, it had created a symbol of why the fight for justice mattered. Every parent in the state knew that their chief minister understood what it meant to fear for your child's life, and what it took to keep them safe. Years later, when Anya was old enough to understand the full story, she would tell her father that she was proud of him for not giving up. She understood that his job was important not just to their family, but to all the families in their state. And Arjun would always remember the lesson he learned that day. Sometimes the greatest act of love is refusing to let fear stop you from doing what's right. Because the world our children inherit depends on the choices we make when we're most afraid. The burning car had been meant to break him. Instead, it had forged him into a stronger protector, not just of his own family, but of every family counting on him to keep their children safe. In the end, that was the greatest victory of all.